afternoon and welcome back to Coffee with a Kick. Xander here, Keegan there, and actually this was a pretty good match day for us. All in all, we went 6-4 apiece with some variations on the two, so we're kicking it back into high gear for the last third of the season or so. Last third of the season.
Yeah, we are. We are.
We're gonna work our way back towards 500 and end it nice and good, finish good. That's our plan. But what do you say we just go ahead and hop right into the match day itself with some interesting results? This first one, though, Manchester City hosting Everton, was not particularly interesting. It was one of those smother 'em till they're dead sort of games by Manchester City. Could have been worse for Everton than the 2-0 that it was. It took them a long time to get going. Really not a lot in the first half at all happened.
Yeah, it like you said, it felt like Everton was playing fine. They kept City out of the final third for a while. I mean, City had almost 20 shots, only 3 of them on target. So, yeah, it really did feel like one of those matches.
Yeah, it was a sloppy first 15 from Doku especially. Tried to give it away a couple times there for Everton there early in the match. But then after that, we get to the second half, 71st minute. Everton can't clear their lines from a Manchester City corner kick, and it falls to Haaland. He finally gets back on the sheet here for 2024. 77 days since his last goal, which is a long time for him. But that second one, there it was. That Kevin De Bruyne just chef's kiss pass right to Erling Haaland. And this time he doesn't bungle the left-footed curler around the goalkeeper. Puts it away. 2-0. Ends up being an easy victory there for Manchester City over Everton.
Yeah, the other stat that I saw was that Rodri, I think he's now 36 games unbeaten. There are 36 straight wins, I think, with him in the starting lineup. It was something wins unbeaten, but apparently he has not lost since 2022 when he's been in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he was pivotal in maintaining the Manchester City side while Kevin De Bruyne was out. So once he went out out there for a couple weeks there in December when City started slipping. He came back, kind of right the ship, and now everybody's back. Now everybody's back, and it's going to be tough for the rest of the table up there at the top to keep City behind them. Gonna have to keep being productive, but we both got that one right. Both thought City would win. It was closer to yours, I would say, than it was to mine. I said 3-2. You said 4-0. It felt closer to a 4-0 than a 3-2 for sure. But hey, in the end, they both pay out the same. And next up, Fulham Bournemouth. The streak is broken, my gentlemen. I now have gotten one Fulham pick correct in a row. I will try to keep it going. We both got it right because Bournemouth was not particularly interesting coming into this match. And it ended up being, Bournemouth had their chances here. The first one was a bit unlucky for Bournemouth by the number 4 there on Bournemouth's side on defense, slipping as he was about to clear the ball, which gave, who was that number 4 on their team? Yeah, Lewis Cook slipped and fell right inside the penalty area and gave the ball right to Fulham's attacker there, De Cordova-Reid. And he placed in a very easy goal at that point. Unfortunate on their side. Maintained it a little bit until the 36th minute when Willian really was I think if he didn't get man of the match, he probably should have had it because both these other goals here by Fulham were Willian specials. The first one was a fantastic floated pass to the backside. De Cordova-Reid, another slick little run, heads it back across to Muniz, who puts it in cleanly. And then, what happened there? And then on the 50th minute goal by Senesi, that was his first touch on that corner kick that was headed back to him was incredible. I mean, he was back to goal, flips it up to himself, does the shoulder turn, and then kicks it in on the backside. Very nice stuff. You felt that Bournemouth had a little bit going for a half second there, but 2 minutes later, Willian, again, from left side to right, floats it beautifully, this time directly to Muniz, who puts it into the back of the net. And it was... From there, Fulham was able to kind of coast to the end for the last majority of the second half.
Yeah, at home, I felt like Fulham, I don't even remember what my prediction was, but going into the match on the day, I felt like Fulham just had it going for them, being at home. Yeah. They're now 7 games. They've won 5 of their last 7, unbeaten in 6 of their last 7 at home. So, I mean, they're starting to use Craven Cottage as kind of their fortress of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, didn't feel like Bournemouth really got anything going until the goal. And then it felt like maybe, 2-0 is that lead you don't want to give up.
Most dangerous lead in sports.
Yeah. And turned out it's also pretty dangerous to let the other team score right after you score.
Yeah.
And it was just unfortunate. After that, Bournemouth kind of looked dejected. Didn't look like they had a lot of fight.
Yeah, we both got that right. You had it 3-0. I had it 2-1. So we split that one pretty close as far as predictions are concerned. Then also on Saturday, we had Liverpool and Burnley. This one was more interesting than it seems when you look at the final scoreline, for sure. Yep. I mean, Burnley played very well during this match. And let's see here. Yeah, it was a good showing by Burnley. It's just it didn't end up going their way.
Yeah, just really tough there in the second half. I felt like first half Burnley played extremely well. I felt like Liverpool's goal was just a classic Jota strike, and then you had O'Shea there in the 45th tying it back. I felt like going into half that Burnley may squeak out some points. I just felt like they were a little overrun, a little unlucky there in the second half. But, yeah, definitely not a 3-1 that was like a dominating 3-1.
No, I figured out what happened. I put Everton in here as a note for the Burnley match, and it really threw me for a minute. But yeah, the sloppy defense by Burnley was to be expected to give Luis Diaz the second goal. But 64th minute, 67th minute, 2 big chances from Burnley that should have been put away to draw them back level. Odegaard on the first one, the 64th, and then Fofana on the second in the 67th. I mean, it was... They had the chance to be in this match, but in the end, they are still a relegation side, and it came through in those 2 moments there where they could have gotten back into it, but then they didn't. And then you don't clear the ball, and the recycled ball from that corner kick gets to Nunez, who puts in a tough header. The recycled ball, that was a good header. I mean, he was leaning back. Nunez has not been great this season for Liverpool, but he came through on that one and really did seal the match in the 79th. But Burnley had their chance. I said Everton again. Burnley had their chances. We both got this. Well, you got this one wrong. Uh-oh. Did you go 5-5? I accidentally marked that one as a correct one. Oh, dear. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, had my hopes up on a above 500 weekend.
Nope, it's a 5-5.
I personally felt pretty good about Burnley in the first half. I was feeling like they had a chance.
No, your draw was looking very good, and if the draw was looking very good for this one. And like I said, 67 those 5 minutes there in the 64 to 67 or whatever go the way they should have. You probably would have gotten the draw correct. And then I would be at 5-5, and you would be at 6-4. And where in the world will we be at that point? Well, I'll let everybody know here in just a second. let me get you started on this next one so I'll update the rankings. Yes, and then Luton Town and Sheffield United, they're at Kenilworth Road. We both got this one wrong. Why don't you tell us how it went?
Yeah, this one I don't know. I felt like Luton Town just came in very flat. It felt like, besides possession, it felt like a Burnley game. Like Luton just had a ton of possession, a lot of random shots, but not really like a ton of quality shots. And they just let Sheffield get in behind a couple of times, and that was the decider. So, Sheffield United, very clinical. 3 shots on target, 3 goals. Luton Town gets the penalty in the 52nd. But, I don't know. Once they went down 2-0 at half, I didn't feel like, even after the penalty, that Luton was going to end up getting points. The crowd was behind them, but Sheffield just kind of parked the bus till they got a chance there in the 72nd.
Yeah,
and they sealed it.
Yeah, both teams shared inadvertent penalty kicks off of handballs, essentially. But Cameron Archer really bungled an opportunity there, and then he comes back 30 seconds later and scores and redeems himself completely. But yeah, on the 72nd minute, the goal there for Sheffield United that really put it away. It was classic looking Luton from earlier in the season, totally unmarked on the backside of play for like a solid 30 seconds. No one was looking at him. No one even knew he was there. And the ball just squeezed over to him. And he had a free shot on goal, put it away. And Sheffield United will take it. This was huge for them. This was basically their season, and it did feel like it. This one, Sheffield came out with the proper energy that they knew that their Premier League lives were on the line. So good on Sheffield for coming up to the occasion. Luton, disappointing after your recent run of success. You didn't look like the same team, and you were at home. I don't understand it, but it's gonna happen. It gives Everton a little bit of hope, even though since they lost, that Luton kept pace with them as far as negative points are concerned.
Really strange how we've seen Luton play really well against the big boys and really poorly against the bad boys. So, I share in your sentiment. I don't know this was a must win for both teams, and Sheffield had the upper hand.
Yeah, and now they almost they're now up to 13 points. Good for Sheffield. They're tied with Burnley now at 13 points at the bottom of the table. Just negative 38 goal difference is hard to overcome if you're Sheffield. Negative 38. That's not great.
Why they got to win. Just keep winning.
Yeah. Winning solves a lot, I've heard that said before, and I think it's true. Then to another match that got away from someone. Similar to up there with Liverpool and Burnley, only I think worse probably, was this Spurs and Brighton match. Because this one was 1-1 it was Brighton was up and playing better than Spurs for a lot of this match. They had the 17th minute penalty for Pascal Gross that he put in. Where the other starts? Yeah. Danny Welbeck almost had 30 seconds in. Danny Welbeck almost bit one back post. It was very close. Great save by the Spurs goalkeeper there. But then they kind of got into the swing of things, and Brighton was in it. Spurs didn't look like they were outmatching them at all. Then Sarr got a goal there in the 61st, and you thought it was going to trail down to a 1-1 draw. Both sides had their chances. But Brennan Johnson kept at it, and Son, great ball across to him. Really, this goal was on Son, because he got the assist through, and Brennan Johnson was just in the right place at the right time on the backside of play. And for once, Spurs get the late goal, and they don't concede it. So they escaped this one, I feel like, and they needed it if they're going to try to make a play for the top of the table. With Liverpool and Manchester City already notching wins on the week.
Yeah, it was tough to see how the first Spurs goal went in. I mean, Sarr takes a shot, deflects off of Dunk, then off the post, then right back, pretty much right back to his foot, and then he gets the goal. So, tough one for Brighton, I get it, but the second goal, I mean, Johnson was unmarked.
Yeah.
He is unmarked, no defender around him. Everyone's ball watching, looking at Son, and I don't know, leaving him unmarked, they deserve to lose that. First goal, unlucky. Second one, you just gotta play better defense.
You gotta stay engaged. It was the end of the match, but you gotta stay engaged. So tough for Brighton. You got that one right. You thought the Tottenham was going to win. I thought it was going to be a draw. It was looking good for such a long time. So close. Then 2-1, I did get right and you got wrong because I did not believe in my Wolves. And I was unfortunately rewarded in this one. Although 2-0 doesn't tell the full story. I think again, our offense is looking much more fluid. Just a lot of, you know what? Brentford's goalkeeper, what's his name? It's come on.
Let me check the lineups here.
Flecken.
I don't think
it's Flecken. Flecken. Flecken looked as good against Wolves as he did against City last week. You know, he kept Brentford in the City match a long time when they probably shouldn't have been, and he basically gave the Brentford Bees the win this time, even when arguably my Wolves probably should have gotten some. Because we had some very good chances. There's some great shots, great movement. But Flecken, it was just kept up the good form from his last one. And they got 2 past us. Really, it was our defense letting us. Both of these were defensive letdowns. On the first one for the Norgard, I can't remember which defender it was marking Norgard, and the ball came in, and he just expected the goalkeeper to get it. Like, he let off and let Norgard go unmarked because he thought the goalkeeper would just be there, which is not a good thing to do. You got to wait until he calls you off. So that was an easy one there. VAR. Oh, my goodness. We did have a goal. I almost forgot about that. We got VAR'd again by a toenail. It was like the inverse of when Michael Phelps won the butterfly by 0.002 thousandths of a second or whatever, because he didn't clip his fingernails that day. It was like that, but bad and VAR offsides for the Wolves. Yeah. And then the defense broke down again there in the 77th minute, leaving Tony. No, that was a defensive giveaway, and then they just pinged it through us very quickly because it was a dumb giveaway on our half. Yeah, that one was tough. That was tough. Brentford deserved the win because they beat us.
Yeah, I mean, after the first goal, it felt like Brentford was pretty okay with just sitting back. Mm-hmm. Wolves had a majority. I think from their first goal on, I think Wolves had like 85% of possession for the rest of the game. And it really was just a classic, you're right, just a giveaway, counterattack. They were outnumbered. I think it was Ginault, maybe, who whips that ball into Tony.
Yep.
I mean, he's a striker. He knows how to score, and he just pushes it past Saw. So, I mean, I feel like Wolves just didn't have a lot of. Yeah, they had good chances, like you said. Flecken played well. They just weren't very clinical. Some of his saves were pretty easy saves.
Yeah.
A couple of them, though, I mean, pretty amazing saves. He reminds me of Kasper Schmeichel when he was at Leicester probably like 10 years ago. But like he could just make saves, so you're thinking there's no way he's going to get to that ball, and somehow gets a fingertip to it. So, I think Brentford had their game plan. They got the goal and they stuck to it. And I think Wolves just didn't really know how to break through there at the end. So the VAR was dejecting, though, too. It looked like after that, they were not as eager to press and attack.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough one. And then to a match we both got right, although it was much more interesting than we thought. Nottingham took on Newcastle and hung with them for the most part. This one was an entertaining match through and through, up until that third goal there by Newcastle, and then they kind of shut it down after that. But how'd this one set up for you?
Yeah, I felt like Newcastle played well. This felt like the Luton game all over again. I genuinely thought going into halftime, it's 2-2 again. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, boy, it's going to be 4-4 again. I felt like halftime, both teams made adjustments on defense, felt a lot more conservative, did not feel as free-flowing as the first half. But, I mean, Newcastle, Gimaresh getting the 66-minute goal, it felt like after that they knew that if they could just control possession, they'll get the game. So I felt like they did actually a pretty excellent job after taking the lead of actually playing defense, something they've been known for. And yet over the past 10 match days, they haven't been able to back it up. So second half looked a lot better.
Yeah, and that their set piece work there on the 10th minute goal for Gimaresh's first, incredible set piece. I mean, that was very well worked for the 26 minute when Nottingham came back. Boy, that goalkeeper was out on a ledge and he left himself there. That was not the best goalkeeping play that you'll see all week. And then the Hudson, was it the Hudson-Odoi? Yeah, I think it was the Hudson-Odoi goal was just a crazy deflection. They got pretty lucky on to get it to 2-2 just at the half. But yeah, the Gimaresh got the second one with great strike. No, the Fabian Schär was the great strike. And then it was another set piece for... Did I get those backwards? I think I got those backwards. It was a great strike, I think, for Gimaresh for the third. And that put Newcastle away for good. And yeah, they were able to coast there from there on out and take the full 3.
Yeah, my favorite commentary was the Hudson-Odoi goal. After the goal, the commentator mentions how it was such a great strike by the defender.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's probably going to be saved, and then it just hits off, it just beats Dubravka near post. Yeah. And it was like, if he would have meant to do that, it would have been he'd be striker central. But I don't know. It was Hudson-Odoi. It was really out of nothing. He just kind of got a pass, just took a shot, lucky deflection. So, yeah, but Newcastle responded.
Newcastle, they stuck with it, and then that finished up Saturday's action. Did I say? Yes, we both got that one right. Yes, and then to Sunday, just a super chill Sunday, just a 6-0 victory for Arsenal over West Ham. I got this one right because I'm not crazy. Also broke the streak here as well. No more 10 straight losses for me on any team. No active streaks for losses to that degree. But wow. I only had it as 3-1 for Arsenal. But it was so much worse than that. I mean, Arsenal, it was like the first 20 minutes West Ham looked decent. And they were in the match a little bit. But we hit like the 21st minute and Arsenal they couldn't be stopped at that point for the rest of the half. And ended up scoring 4 in the first half after not doing anything cool for the first 20. And it was an onslaught, really, is what it was.
To me, it felt like a very good team who had been playing decent as of late, but had a few games where they just weren't fluid, weren't playing like they know to play. And yeah, I mean, once Saliba got his goal, it felt like the floodgates opened. Yeah. Like all of a sudden something clicked. Because even before the penalty, they looked like they were free-flowing. They looked comfortable. So I don't know what that Saliba goal did for them, but it kind of broke them out of this mentality that they've been in the last 12 match days. So I would be scared to face Arsenal right now. I don't think this was a fluke 6-0. They looked really good. They looked like a team that is on a mission to win the Premier League. So after this one, I think it could be a 3-horse race, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and it's going to come down to whoever beats each other, to be honest.
And Trossard's and Declan Rice's goal, Declan scoring against his former squad, very respectful in his celebration, which he didn't have one, but both those were great hits. Really good goals there. just to put the icing on the cake. And then after the 65th minute, like there were plenty of other chances for Arsenal to score, but they didn't care to score, really, is what it came down to. There's a little dink and dunk passes inside the West Ham box that no one just put a foot to. So it could have been worse than 6-0, and that's pretty crazy to say. But West Ham definitely did not show up on this match.
They never looked like they were in the game.
Yeah, they are. Ooh, boy, I'm looking at their recent results, and they are winless in their last 5 after a nice 3-win streak that they had back in late December. But draw against Brighton, draw against Sheffield, draw against Bournemouth, loss against United, and big loss against United 3-0, and now big loss 6-0 to Arsenal. So that is not what you're looking for. They do get Nottingham Forest, so we'll get someone. Well, I say that someone's got to do good, but they don't. If we could have a bad match,
you say that it's going to be a 0-0 draw.
I might pick it. I might pick a 0-0 draw. I don't have confidence in either of these teams. To a team that I had confidence in until recently, on the other Sunday match, Aston Villa falls to the rejuvenated Manchester United. I guess those conversations that Ten Hag had during the international break were successful because they are looking like a decent Premier League squad.
Yeah, this one, I feel like Aston Villa played well, especially after Douglas Luiz's goal. I mean, it really felt like Aston Villa was going to go on and win it. Like, crowd was behind them. They had more possession. They had the ball. And then you just get kind of a glancing cross in. I think it was Dalot, who it was really just off like a pass from whoever the Man U guy was. And he just rifles it in. McTominay's bodying, I think it was Matty Cash. And, I mean, a rifle header to win it. And I think they said McTominay now might have 10 goals on the season. It's like the most goals he's ever had times 2 in a Premier League season. So, and he was a sub. He came on like the 75th minute. So that makes Ten Hag look like a good manager, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Man U played it well. I mean, they took advantage of their chances and they knew it was a hostile environment. But like you said, they seem like a different team, especially now that Højlund is scoring.
Yeah,
they kind of look like.
I mean, he was lucky to be on side on that first one, getting played on by. I think it was who was it? He got played on sides there. Otherwise, it would have been easy offsides call. On the first one, I think it was Leon Bailey who played him on side. No, Ollie Watkins, I think, one of those two. Leon Bailey or Ollie Watkins had played him on side there for the first goal. Unlucky for Aston Villa. And then, yeah, you're right. They were in it for a long time because typically Aston Villa plays well at home. That it took them until the 67th minute to finally break through is a testament to United being stalwart. Onana actually had a good match. Like, I didn't feel like he had his characteristic bungling of something.
Yeah, he played well. I mean, even the commentators were mentioning that he looked more sure-handed in this match.
Yeah, so if he can carry that through, they might be able to sneak up into that Premier. I mean, this was big for their Champions League hopes or their European hopes, taking the 3 points away from Villa and getting 3 points up on them. And they're still down 5 to get to 5th, and that's 5th is the flex one, right? If an English team wins it, then the 5th team will go to the Champions League. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's the Europa League for them. Yeah, but it's United. Listen, they deserve the win. They were able to hang on, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out for them. Let's see. They've got Luton Town next week, so that's a nice matchup for them. So we'll see what happens. And then to the match from yesterday, Crystal Palace and Chelsea. We both got the Aston Villa one wrong. You got this one right because you said Chelsea was going to win.
I broke the curse then. I broke my curse.
Yes, well, yours has been very hit or miss throughout the year. You didn't have a huge streak going for Chelsea, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. You had missed 10 in a row back in the middle of the season.
Hey, I'm on the up and up.
We're both on the up and up here. But my draw was looking good for a long time. And Crystal Palace, like they were in the match. They were looking pretty good. 90+1. Gallagher gets. I mean, his first one was a really nice goal. Hold on, where's my note? There it is. Yeah,
the second one was a tough one. I mean, it's a quick cross in. He takes it one time.
Yeah, really.
Puts it across the goal.
Both of his were very good. Both of his goals were very good. Yeah, Thunder's a good ball. It was a beautiful, beautiful strike after a scramble for the ball. That's my note for Lerma's goal. I can't picture it in my head at the moment. But apparently it was a beautiful strike after a scramble for the ball. Got the first goal there for Crystal Palace. They go into halftime up 1-0, feeling pretty good. Gallagher gets the first there in the 47th. And then things just kind of chill out for the rest of the half. And then we get to the 90+1 with the second Gallagher. And then Crystal was pushing for a draw and they got caught. They just got caught. Cole Palmer sprung a very adept counterattack, and Enzo Fernandez put the match away for Chelsea.
If you want to see an ankle breaker in soccer, go watch Fernandez's move. He gets the ball and just sits his defender down as he goes. I mean, it was a beautiful move.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Chelsea, again, we got some sides that are starting to look decent that had not previously in the year. I mean, Chelsea's still down in 10th, so they just moved back into the top half of the table. They do have City up next, which is not great. They are at the Etihad, so you get to look forward to that. Chelsea, good luck. Have fun. Try not to lose too bad. But that brings us go ahead.
I was going to say with Chelsea, like they're so young. There's been so much turnover. And there's already murmurs that Pochettino may be let go again. And you just got to give him time. Like if you give this team 2 years to really figure out their identity, keep some players, I mean, they could do stuff like they did against Crystal Palace. They'll win the league. If you give Pochettino 3 years, they'll win it in year 3. I'm going to guarantee that. But I just don't know if Bowley is willing to wait. And if he does, it'll pay off. But it's, as we've said, and as everyone knows, when you bring in 47 new players, they're not just going to mesh together just because they're all good. You got to give them time. So,
yeah, you got to find your formation. You got to find your guys that play well together. It's not as easy as you would think. But that brings us to the end. That is the match day that was. Right, that was the weekend that was match day 24. Yeah, that's it. It was a weekend that was match day 24. Like I said, I went 6-4. We discovered that you actually went 5-5. But
I was feeling so good, and then you ruined it. So
I did ruin it. But you also picked Burnley to draw Liverpool and Arsenal to draw West Ham. So I think it's partially on you, as the saying goes.
The thing is, had I gotten them right, though, I'd look like a genius. So, it's always at some point.
Yes. In honor of the Super Bowl just wrapping up on Sunday, if you go for it on 4th and down and convert it, you look like a genius. If you don't, you look like a chump. So, does that mean I'm calling you a chump? I mean, like in the transitive property of English.
Right now, my record, I'm a chump. I'm a chump right now with my record. I'll take it.
And we're both chumps with our records at this point. We're getting better though. We're getting there. We're gonna get there.
We're getting there.
Speaking of records, hey, Champions League's back this midweek. We got 4 matches. Count them 4 matches here. Across 2 on Wednesday and 2 on Tuesday. I did those backwards. They'll be coming up here shortly today. We've got RB Leipzig taking on Real Madrid. Let's see. I had that written down. It is the runner-up of Group G, RB Leipzig, versus the winner of Group C, Real Madrid. And then Copenhagen, the runner-up of Group A, takes on Manchester City, the winner of Group G, for Tuesday. I forgot to write down my picks for this. I think City's going to win, obviously, because Copenhagen was the side that everybody was hoping to play for the runner-up side, because they barely made it through that lower half of the table. I mean, everyone lost to Bayern Munich in that one, and Copenhagen was able to sneak out over Galatasaray and Manchester United. I don't think that Copenhagen's going to be able to stop a fully fit Manchester City. I think it goes... They've got a pretty good record at home, so they may be able to keep it close for a little bit. I'll put it at 1-3 for City. Yeah, I feel like 1-3, and I think Copenhagen may even score first, because City's been a little slow coming out of the gates these past couple weeks in the Premier League, and you do that at home to Copenhagen, and you could let one in easy.
Yeah, our selection is almost the same, except I have 4-1, Man City winning. I agree. I think Copenhagen's a little better at home. City in the Champions League has been different than City in the Premier League. Champions League, besides the very last match week, I mean, we were starting off hot, maintaining the lead, building upon the lead. So I think we come out 2 goals in the first 20 minutes. We establish the lead, and we take it 4-1. If you've ever wanted to see I'll just leave it at that. Those went 4-1.
Yeah, it's kind of like the match that they had a few weeks ago where they dominated. Which one was that? And they gave up a silly goal at the very end. I think that was the Burnley match. City and Burnley, where they gave up a dumb goal at the end there to ruin my 3-0 perfect pick. Something along those lines, what you're thinking there. And then for RB Leipzig and Real Madrid, I think Madrid wins just on talent, but Red Bull Leipzig could give them a challenge. Jude Bellingham, though, is really good, though. He's
out.
Oh, is he out? Ooh.
He's got a high ankle sprain. He's out at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay,
if not longer.
I'll make this an interesting 2-1 victory for Real Madrid, though, because they've got other people than Jude Bellingham, but it'll probably be closer to 4-1 if Jude is playing, because he is very good.
Yeah, I mean, to start the year off, 3 of Real Madrid's 4 starting defenders are out, and Jude Bellingham is out. So I think because Leipzig is a free-scoring squad, I think they steal it here. I think they win 3-1.
Wow.
Real Madrid, as of late, has been a little stagnant. Bellingham's kind of been the person getting them going in the midfield. Everyone else in their midfield is old. Besides a couple of young guys, I don't know if they can still rely on Cruz and Modric to get them through matches. So, yeah, I think I go 3-1 Leipzig. They're at home. Real Madrid's depleted on defense. It's hard for me to pick against Leipzig at least drawing, but I'm going to say they get the win.
Yeah, that is a diminished side there for Real Madrid. We'll see what happens. That could be the makings of an upset there. Then we go to Wednesday, and we've got the runner-up of Group E, Lazio, taking on the winner of Group A, Bayern Munich, if you want to speak it American. And then for the runner-up, and then the other one, it's the runner-up of Group F, PSG, versus the runner-up of Group H, the winner of Group H, Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad gets the short end of the stick here, drawing PSG, the runner-up from the Group of Death. How do you have these two going here for these two sides in Rome and Paris, respectively?
I believe that Real Sociedad is going to catch PSG sleeping.
Really?
Because Sociedad domestically is playing well. They were playing really well in the Champions League. Their defense is very good. I mean, they remind me of an Inter Milan-esque team. good defense, solid clinical skills in front of goal. I think Real Sociedad takes it 2-0.
Really?
I don't even think PSG get a goal.
Wow.
And again, it could be one of those picks that looks terrible after the match, but PSG, they have their history.
Mm-hmm.
They can't quite get past it. They really only have Mbappe now. And if he doesn't play well, like, who's going to score?
Right.
So I'm going Sociedad in that one. Lazio, similarly to Sociedad, they play pretty solid defense, but so this is actually a rematch of 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, round of 16. Bayern took the first game 4-1 at Lazio. So I don't think it'll be quite that bad, but I do think it'll end up being 2-0 Bayern. I think Bayern's just, they're too much of an all-around team to lose to a team like Lazio.
They're very good. Bayern's very good. I have them winning 4-2, just because they can really pour it on. Bayern can. And Lazio, tough draw for Lazio. I mean, the teams you didn't want to play coming out of the group stage were Bayern and Man City. They're both looking very good, both perfect on the across the group stage. And they're the ones who got unlucky. For Real Sociedad and PSG, I had a similar vibe. I've got it as a 1-1 draw, which I'm sure Real Sociedad will take. I mean, coming out of Parc des Princes with the draw means all you got to do is take care of business at home, right? You just take care of business at home, get a win, and you're through to the quarterfinals. Through the quarterfinals. So I think that'll be. You're probably right. It'll probably be a pretty dull match. Real Sociedad can really squeeze it pretty good. So I think that it ends up being 1-1 there, and then 4-2 for Bayern and Lazio, with Bayern taking home. And then they'll be able to wrap it up nice and easy there in Munich when it comes down the pike. And I'm not sure when the other match day is, but I'm sure it'll be sometime in the future. I'm sure that is correct. But that's what we are looking forward to later today and tomorrow. We'll be back here on probably it'll be later this week, Thursday or Friday. I'll figure it out. I'll get it posted
in the future. It'll be in the future.
Now, do you have a trivia for our answer in the next episode?
I was thinking, in honor of the Champions League, I was going to do a Champions League one. And it could be a toss-up, could not be a toss-up, but my question was, which non-Premier League side has won the Champions League?
You mean
not in the Premier League, and they've never been in the Premier League.
Okay, gotcha. So this is a English team. Well, this is an English team, an English team who's not currently in the Premier League, and that would also then mean that there are two answers is what you're saying, and they have never been in the Premier League, so they haven't. Is that 90? When did the Premier League start?
92.
92. So they haven't been in the Premier League, never been in the Premier League, weren't good enough in 91 to be in the Premier League. Well, the end of the season 92, and have won the Champions League. Interesting. Nottingham Forest would have been in there up until recently because they won the Champions League a long time ago, right?
I think they did.
Yeah,
they did.
But up until 2 seasons ago, that would have been 3. But that one's. I don't know if I'll be able to guess that one. That's a deep dive. Well, if you think you know, drop a comment down below. Whoa, that rhymes. And we'll give you your props. Flynn21, great to see you out there in the chat. Not the chat, but in the comment section. Good job, Fulham, getting the dub. Good to see it. And we will be back.
I told you, I had to give them the win.
Had to do it.
For Flynn. Win for Flynn.
Win for Flynn.
That sounds like a great campaign. Hopefully they don't ever have to have it, because usually that's for people who have leukemia or they're dying. But win for Flynn 21.
We did it. We did it, Flynn.
We did it.
We did it. All right. And until next time, later this week, until you see us again, you go ahead and grab some coffee, watch some soccer, and we will see you on the other side.